Anytime? Okay. Okay, good morning. If we could all find our seats and hate to ask you to stop having the wonderful conversations and networking, um, but I've been told that it's time to get going on the second part of our program this morning. Um, my name is Missy Tracy, and I am a tribal member of the indigenous people of this place, the Ho-Chunk. We refer to this place as Dejope for the Four Lakes, Madison. Um, and I'm also the senior manager sales at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison. And I really hope that you are thoroughly enjoying this and learning all kinds of things. Because I know that Sustain Dane, and the board and the staff, everyone works really hard to bring a summit full of wonderful content to help move our community forward towards a more green community and more sustainable that we know that we can be. So in keeping with the theme for this year's summit, building our social change ecosystem, I thought I'd give a few brief remarks around the theme. Sociologists define social change as changes in human interactions and relationships that transform cultural and social institutions. These changes occur over time, as we learned from Deepa this morning. So Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison has been a member of Sustain Dane since 2016, and I am proud to say I've been a board member since 2019. Over the past 8 years, Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison has improved the relations in Dejope with regard to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison. We've built collaborative relationships and been an active and contributing member of this community to include playing a part in helping Dejope work towards being a sustainable community that is inclusive, diverse, equitable, and just. On September 17th of 2016, the Ho-Chunk Nation's General Council, that's our tribal membership, adopted a resolution declaring that ecosystems and natural communities possess inherent, fundamental, and inalienable rights, including the right to exist and thrive. I'm so honored to say the Ho-Chunk Nation is the first tribe to advance a rights of nature proposal. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So I'll just read that really quickly. So the rights of nature. Ecosystems and natural communities within the Ho-Chunk Nation territory possess an inherent, fundamental, and inalienable right to exist and thrive. This right includes, but is not limited to, the right of ecosystems and natural communities to maintain and regenerate their life cycles, structure, functions, and evolutionary processes, the right to be restored, and the right to defense, protection, and enforcement of their rights. Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, thank you. Yeah, really, really proud that as stewards of this land and indigenous people everywhere, these are the beliefs that we are just brought up with and we live. So very proud of our tribe for taking that step. Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison was in full support of the action taken by the tribal membership. And we were proud to say that we had already completed substantial energy efficiency projects. Additionally, we were the first tribal casino in Wisconsin to go 100% smoke-free in August of 2015, which saved the frequency of replacing air filters as well as providing a healthy, smoke-free environment for not only our guests, but our employees as well. We also had completed an electricity efficiency project, a land water conservation projects, an alternative transportation project, and waste reduction projects. To date, we have completed even more in various sustainable categories. And I also just want to say, I want to recognize our team members that are here today, and just thank you for representing, coming out, and it's very, very important for us to really be in the community and support and just, network and talk with people, because we really do want that awareness and education out there in this community. Today, tribal ecological knowledge is now considered a valuable resource in how to deal with the environment. Tribes are even now being consulted on environmental issues. So a quote, this is a little bit taking it way back, but a quote I love is from the 1963 Secretary of Interior, Stuart Udall. And before I read that, I do want to also give kudos to the government for naming Secretary of Interior Deb Haaland 3 years ago. That was just amazing. Or 2 years ago, sorry. Yeah, she's done wonderful things for the land and water in this country. So Stuart Udall said, "It is ironic that today the conservation movement and remember, this is from 1963, the conservation movement finds itself turning back to the ancient Indian land ideas, to the Indian understanding that we are not outside of nature, but of it." And we really believe that. It's a living, thing, and we really have to keep in check our relationship with this land, and because we believe that it is, we're borrowing it from our future generations. So we really need to be responsible of how we are taking this place and preserving it for our children and grandchildren. In taking care of Mother Earth, we hold a conservation view that the multifaceted interaction of human and natural environments assurance that a resource can be put to human use without threatening its ability to replenish itself. And that's what we try to do. Anytime that we need to use any of the natural resources, we make sure that we only take what we need, and that there is stuff, that we leave everything there so that it can continue to replenish and be here for time immemorial. The Ho-Chunk people demonstrate their way of life, goodwill, and social responsibility to their homeland and all its residents. Society's way of thinking has come full circle in valuing the environment. So I would like to thank you for caring and taking whatever role that plays a part in being a caretaker of this planet. Wa'ini Ganapwi, which means thank you all in our language. And now, it is my distinct privilege and honor to welcome to the stage the Dane County Executive Joe Parisi. Thank you.
Thanks, Missy. I appreciate it. And thank you and Dan and the whole team at Ho-Chunk Gaming, as well as other folks in the nation with whom we work and partner. We appreciate and respect you, and we're so glad that you're part of this conversation and the action that's taking place. So thank you. Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Joe Parisi. I'm the Dane County Executive, and I am here to talk a little bit about what county government is doing in the role of sustainability, particularly as it has to do with climate change. We take a kind of a art of the possible approach to addressing climate change. And this was born out of our efforts that began during the Trump administration, when Donald Trump was president, when we didn't have much support on the federal level or the state level. And we realized we could sit around and complain about what wasn't happening, which is fine, or we could look at what we could do and tap kindred spirits and realize the power that we have on a grassroots level to move forward. And so we decided to take kind of a two-pronged approach. First, clean up our own house, because I don't like telling other people what they should do if I'm not doing it first. And then reach out to the community, not only as an example of what can be done and how it can be done, but to realize the power of community organizing. And I appreciate so much Sustain Dane reaching out and in the organizing that is done by this organization, I mean, which is evident today. This is community organizing, and this is how we move forward. And this is really how we move forward in an unstoppable manner. Because you look at this group of people here today and multiply it by whatever number it is, right? Sometimes we feel isolated and we're almost, you know, people try to talk to us like, well, you're extremists, right? You're worried about this climate change stuff. Well, no, the majority of people are. But there are vested interests that don't want us to feel the power that we have to move forward. So what we did in Dane County, we said, okay, let's clean up our own house, big unit of government, 2,500 employees, dozens of buildings. We use a lot of energy, we produce a lot of carbon, et cetera. So first we did an assessment in partnership with the UW to look at, so I just want to make sure I don't, what time it is here, to look at the impact of climate change locally. And right now we know that what the report 10 years ago told us is coming true. Warmer and wetter weather, more rainfall all at once. We needed to build in resiliency with in all of our departments and be prepared for the inevitable changes that we can't stop, but hopefully can slow down. We have over 30 departments, from human services to a highway department, et cetera. So every department did an assessment of how climate change would impact us. And so our highway department designs things and does things differently now, bigger culverts, et cetera, looking at anticipation of that rain. Our public health department, human services, are prepared to deal with the changes. I keep on hitting that. I'm gonna do with the changes that are coming in the climate. Public health is having to deal with insect-borne diseases that it didn't have to deal with before, and on and on and on. So first there's adaptation and looking at resiliency. But then we asked, what can we do to move the needle and move it fast? So first we looked at what everyone knows is the low-hanging fruit, it's energy efficiency. We started investing millions of dollars annually in energy efficiency projects in Dane County facilities. That has an ROI of about 2 or 3 years. And not only is it the responsible thing to do environmentally, it's the responsible thing to do fiscally. And as people who utilize tax dollars, I would rather use those tax dollars to provide services or to provide tax relief than continuing to spend money on fossil fuels that just goes out the window. You might as well be lighting $100 bills on fire. So after we did efficiency, we got down to assessing for renewables. And as of today, we have 17 different solar arrays on county facilities. Our largest to date that's in operation now is a partnership out at our airport where we identified 40 acres of land, entered into a partnership with MG&E through which we leased them our land out at the airport. They paid to build a solar field, a 9-megawatt solar field. So we received the lease payments, they paid it, no money out of your taxpayer dollars, and we said, you know what, if you build it, we promise to buy all that electricity, and we'd also like to pay a little less than we're paying now. They did the math, they built it, it is supplying 40% of county government's electricity, and we pay over $100,000 less annually on our electric bill now because the price of solar is down here and coal is up here. So again, it's the environmentally right thing to do, it's the fiscally right thing to do, and the question no longer is, well, should we do this? The question is, why aren't you doing this when the math works so well in every way? Fast forward, we have another solar field under development that will have 33,000 solar panels on it out by our landfill, and that's under construction. And when we flip the switch in 2023 on that project, we will have 100% renewable offset of electricity for all Dane County government operations. So, thank you. Yeah, thank you. We're proud of that because we'll be the first county in the state and one of only a few counties in the entire nation to do it. And so we want to provide a roadmap for others. So we work with people, we provide technical information. This is how we did it, this is how you can get there. We have another goal now. See, our first goal was by 2025, we would have a renewable offset. So we're gonna reach that in 2023. Now, I see goals as something to be beat, not to be met. And so our next goal is by 2030, all county government operations will be carbon neutral. And I hope it doesn't take us till 2030 to do it. That's the goal, but there's no reason we can't beat that. So as a county, how are we going to do that, right? So we offset all of our electricity use, we get efficient, et cetera. Well, we happen to have a landfill. And what do landfills create? Methane gas. And what is one of those potent greenhouse gases that has to be addressed immediately? It's methane. So a few years back, we built a $28 million plant out at our landfill that takes methane gas that we extract from the landfill. It cleans it and compresses it and turns it into renewable natural gas that's used as transportation fuel, which is the cleanest transportation fuel available. Right now, we have about 100 vehicles, a little over 100 vehicles, mostly those big orange trucks that you see plowing snow and working on highways that used to run on diesel that got, I don't know, 3-4 miles a gallon. Those are running now on renewable natural gas that's made from the trash that we all send to the landfill. That costs county taxpayers about the equivalent of about $1.50 a gallon, when diesel now is probably close to $6 a gallon. So again, we're using the cleanest transportation fuel versus one of the dirtiest transportation fuels, and we're saving taxpayers about $4 or $5 a gallon. Then the beauty of this beyond that is that we have a whole bunch extra. We can't even use everything that we're generating right now, so we sell it into the natural gas pipeline. It's purchased by Quick Trip, and they fuel fleets. A lot of fleets run on natural gas right now. In addition, we sell credits, renewable energy credits, for producing that, and that plant that cost us $28 million to build, within a few years will be paid off because we're making net profit several million dollars annually on that plant. So again, we're cleaning the environment, we're protecting the environment, we're saving taxpayer dollars, and if you are a county that has a landfill, there is no reason not to explore whether this is feasible. There's actually a county in Illinois right now that is building a plant like this because of what we did here. So this is part of what we want to do. This is part of our roadmap to do it at home, take care of our own business, and then help others get there, again, through introducing them to these concepts, through technical information, through walking them through, and by pushing the envelope and being first, right? When we built that plant, we were pretty sure it was going to work, but it wasn't guaranteed. So thank you to all of you, because I happen to be the executive in a community that really wants us to do this stuff and supports us taking these risks, because Lord knows fossil fuel companies have benefited and continue to benefit from government subsidies and government helping them push their technologies. We need to do that for renewables and efficiency as well. So fortunately, this worked out, which is probably why I'm still county executive, because if it hadn't, I don't know how that would have ended, but fortunately, it was all good. So that's part of our CO2 neutrality initiative. And then the last part of that is sequestration. And we're fortunate that in Dane County, we're kind of, as you know, like geographically, kind of like a microcosm of the state. We have an urban core, we have suburbs, we have small towns, and we have a lot of land and beautiful lakes. And as you may know, the county is very active in two parts of land management. We do a lot of purchases, and we try to purchase land that was maybe put into ag and shouldn't have been. Maybe not and maybe has runoff that's going into our lakes. It would be better off in prairie or wetlands, and we restore that to prairie and wetlands. And as I'm sure most people in here know, an acre of prairie sequesters about the same amount of carbon as a forested acre. And so we're actively looking at carbon sequestration. We're also working with local farmers. We have a program called Continuous Cover, where we help local farmers with grants, farmers who are row cropping now, who want to return to either rotational grazing, or they have some land that's kind of vulnerable, and they're like, well, we really wish that could go back to its natural state, but because of economics, we're farming it now. And we help them transform that into permanent prairie. So there are a lot of different practical steps we can take. So I think I have about 2 minutes. I'm just going to quickly say, now that we're here, we are working on organizing. We've created the Office of Energy and Climate Change. Many of you know Kathy Kuntz. Kathy is out in the community all the time. I'm out in the community all the time. We're spreading the gospel and spreading the word that there is so much we can do. So we can spend some energy complaining about what folks aren't doing, but if we just tap through the art of the possible, everything that's possible, everything that everyone in this room wants to do, whether you're part of a local government, whether the business that you work for could do a little better and you can push them, whether your faith community has solar panels on their church or temple, etc. There's so much that we can do right now. So I guess my challenge to folks here, and folks who are going to talk today, but in particular, folks who are going to talk at this next year, come and tell us what you're going to do, but not until you tell us, if you're here in 23, Tell us what you're going to do in 24, but tell us what you did in 23. Let's talk, but let's act. Let's come back and report on what we did, because there's so much we can do. You look around this room, we're unstoppable. And you multiply, again, the folks in this room by all the people who care. People can try to stop us, but you just keep moving forward. Look at, we're 100% renewable offset. We're about to be carbon neutral. There's so much money to be saved and so many wonderful things we can do for the environment and for sustainability. So thank you all for being here today. This is how it happens, and I really appreciate being able to talk to you and appreciate all of you for your partnership. So thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Well, I always really appreciate hearing from our fantastic county executive. Thank you so much, Joe, for your leadership and the work that you're doing. My name is Satya Rhodes Conway. I have the absolute honor of being the mayor of Madison, Wisconsin. Thank you all for being in my fantastic city, our fantastic city. And thanks to Sustain Dane for bringing us together year after year and the work that you do in our community. It's so inspiring to be in a space where we're all doing the work together. And I really appreciate, Joe, what you said about the amplification of our work and how much energy it gives us to be here together. I want to acknowledge Alder Charles Miadze is here with us. Thanks, Alder, for caring about sustainability and being here. You know, at the City of Madison, we take very seriously our role in fostering social change within our community and creating an equitable and sustainable city for current Madisonians, but also for future Madisonians and for our neighboring communities as well. I want to acknowledge there's some City of Madison staff in the room. If staff, you just raise your hand. So we've got a great team here. My Deputy Mayor, Christy Baumel, our Sustainability Director, Jessica Price, and our, I'm sorry, Christy, I don't know your official title. Our Equity Director, Christy Kumar, is here. And I think that's important, right, because we really see these things as being intertwined, right? We do sustainability and we do equity and we do them together. And that's really important. You know, in 2019, the city set the pretty ambitious goal of reaching 100% renewable energy and net zero carbon emissions for city operations by 2030 and community-wide by 2050. So we're taking on the 2030 goal, but honestly, we need all of you on the 2050 goal. And like the county executive said, you know, those are like, we got to get there by then, but we get extra points if we get there sooner, right? So don't think like, oh, 2030, we've got some time. No, we gotta race to these goals, and we gotta hit them sooner than those targets. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that the city is doing, and some of the things that we hope to keep doing or start doing as we go forward in order to meet those goals. So we are using, like the county, we're using clean energy to power city operations. We're at about 75% of our electricity usage coming from renewable sources, and that includes 1.3 megawatts of behind-the-meter solar that is installed on city facilities. And we are planning to install another 8 megawatts of solar by 2030. That's a pretty ambitious and big goal, but we're going to get there. We got a lot of rooftops, and we're going to use every square inch of it that we can. And we're committed, of course, to energy-efficient, sustainable city buildings. Since 2008, we have had a commitment to get no less than LEED Silver for buildings that the city builds or renovates. We now have 14 LEED certified buildings, including 5 with platinum certification and 6 more in progress. And we were very proud to receive a 2022 Energy Efficiency Excellence Award from Focus on Energy in recognition for the work that we do to maximize energy efficiency in our own buildings. We also are making sure that affordable housing is developed that is developed in partnership with the city using funds from the Affordable Housing Fund, which I am really glad to say has more than doubled during my tenure as mayor. But we make sure that these buildings are built in an energy efficient way and built to last. We require applicants for the fund to reduce the energy use by 20% based on a focus analysis and to install solar on site. So if you're going to get money from the city to build housing, you're going to do it in a way that's sustainable. And we're going to continue to push that envelope and make sure that housing that we build in our community is built for the long term. We're working on decarbonizing our city fleet by transitioning to low and no carbon fuels. We have about 85 electric vehicles right now. Our fleet director, Mahant Joishi, is passionate about this, and as soon as there's a new type of electric vehicle on the market, he wants to own one. So we can try it out, right? We can, in some cases, literally kick the tires and see how it works and see if we can use it and see if we can recommend it to other folks in the community, and that is definitely happening. We have over 150 hybrid electric vehicles. We have 3 all-electric buses with more to come. And for our heavy-duty diesel, we use a mix of Wisconsin-made biodiesel to run that, and we are upping that percentage over time and hoping to get to 100% biodiesel for our heavy-duty. And again, made right here in Wisconsin. And the one that I am the most excited and proud about is that we are running out of our fire department North America's first electric fire engine. It's the Volterra. It's made in Wisconsin by Pierce, and it was recently voted the most exciting thing made in Wisconsin, which I completely agree with. And our fire department is going to continue. So we got lucky because Pierce is here, and we work with them a lot. They gave us the prototype, right, to test out, and we've been working with them for about a year now to test it, to see how it runs. They come in and they, sort of swarm all over it and pull the data and all that. But they're actually going into manufacturing now, right? And so we are going we get to buy the first one off the line. Which is super exciting. It's also super pricey, but it is totally worth it for us to reduce emissions from our fire system and to still be able to provide the reliable service that all of us need. And then after that, we're going to be competing with municipalities all across the country that want to buy these vehicles. We're looking at electric trash trucks too, just FYI. All the fun things. We also are working, in addition to, leading by example in city government, we work to provide support and resources to individuals and businesses to help folks make sustainable choices. And a lot of that is in partnership with Sustain Dane, and I want to recognize the great work that Sustain Dane does there. We are working on providing clean energy workforce training. So I mentioned the 8 megawatts of solar that we're going to install. We're going to do that as a training program. We currently do it in a way that we train our green power associates. And that program prepares young people for careers in clean energy. And it's primarily women and people of color that are enrolled in this program, and they come in and they learn how to install solar panels, and they get some certifications in OSHA and NABCEP, and they could honestly probably just walk right out the door from the city and go get a job at a solar company. We kind of hope they stick around because we'd like to hire them into our public works and get them trained up into those careers as well. But I think it's a win-win for the community because we get solar, but we also get well-trained folks, and those folks get to walk into good-paying jobs with benefits. And so that's something that I'm very, very excited about. Our Madison program, which is a partnership with Renew Wisconsin, helps homeowners and businesses and nonprofits go solar. So far, we've supported the development of more than 2 megawatts of solar in the community through Madison, and we're just going to keep right on going. We work with Sustain Dane and with Elevate to provide energy efficiency and renewable energy upgrades to multifamily affordable housing through the Efficiency Navigator program. This is going to save folks on energy and water bills. but it also helps to preserve housing affordability. And we just recently completed a study that is going to allow us to add on remediating for lead and mold in these buildings as well. So that when we come into a building, we are going to assess it and we are going to deal with lead, we're going to deal with mold, we're going to deal with energy efficiency, we're going to deal with water efficiency, we're going to deal with solar, and we're going to leave that building a more sustainable and healthy building than it was when we walked into it. And I'm very excited about that work. Thank you. And as I'm sure you know, we are growing our low and no carbon transportation solutions in our community through the Complete Green Streets program, which we will be introducing soon, and Vision Zero initiatives, which we've been working on for a while now. We're updating and expanding infrastructure and support for walking, biking, and other active transportation. I'm really proud that we're a platinum biking city and a gold walking city, but that is not a reason to rest on our laurels, right? We have to keep going and get better so that these modes of transportation are actually viable year-round for anybody who wants to use them, because that's how we reduce carbon emissions from the transportation system. Another way that we reduce those carbon emissions is make it easier and more convenient to own an electric vehicle. So we actually have a requirement that if multifamily buildings or some commercial buildings are building parking, that they have to install some electric charging, but they also have to be ready to install more as the demand increases, because it's so much easier to do it on the front end than it is to go back and retrofit those buildings. So that's a really important effort. And I'm over time, so I'm going to talk even faster. The really exciting and important thing on the transportation front also is the all-electric bus rapid transit system that will break ground in just a few weeks and roll out in the coming years. And that is 100% thanks to the Biden administration and Secretary Buttigieg at the US DOT that we are able to do that all electric. So I am very grateful to the federal government for that. We're working on a whole bunch of stuff coming forward. I'll just give you the highlights. We're developing a new building energy savings program to help commercial building owners identify opportunities to increase energy efficiency, save money, and reduce carbon. We're creating, in fact, it was just introduced at the last council meeting, a transportation demand management program. So stay tuned for that. We could use your support and advocacy to get that through the council. And to learn about all of the things that I have said and more, we have a shiny new sustainability website, which is coming soon. Is it live, Jessica? It is live. So you can go to cityofmadison.com and check out the sustainability section and learn about all of the work that we're doing. But it's not enough, right? We have to keep going. There's so much more that we can do. The money from the infrastructure bill, the money from the Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS Act, we have to be in a position, and I think we are in a position, to access those funds for the city of Madison and for our community to jump faster, farther into sustainability and zero emissions. And we are absolutely committed to doing that at the city of Madison, to scale up the work that we're doing, to start doing new work, and to keep partnering, right? Because we partner with the county. We have a Sustainability Leaders Collaborative that brings together local leaders from all across the county to learn from each other. And we're working together on a sustainable business park and new waste strategies to reduce emissions there. And we partner, I hope, with many of you and hope more of you in the future, because the only way, as the county executive said, the only way we get this done is when we work together. So thank you for the work that you're doing. I'm so excited with what we've been able to accomplish, but I'm even more excited about what comes next.